All right, what's up, Bearcat Middle School students? And welcome to Getting Started with Adobe After Effects. Now, this tutorial is just meant to be a brief guide on getting started with After Effects. It's not going to be an in-depth tutorial, so a lot of that is going to have to be exploring on your own time. What we're going to do is we're going to cover the 5 animation properties that are the foundation for all animation, whether it's two-dimensional graphics or complicated 3D animations like you see in Pixar films. These 5 properties are the basis for all animation. So we're going to get started with that in Adobe After Effects. We're also going to be covering setting keyframes, which is how you animate in most Adobe applications. So we'll do a lot of that today. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open After Effects. If this is your first time opening Adobe After Effects, it's probably going to spend a little bit of time loading up all the plugins that come with it that you'll see loading over here on the left. So just give that a few minutes. Okay, so when you open Adobe After Effects, you should be brought to the home screen where you can start a new project or open a project. And down at the bottom, you'll have some history, and then there's also some tutorial stuff that you can do here in the middle. For our purposes, we're just going to click on New Project, and then it's going to open up a blank Adobe After Effects workspace. And so if your screen looks different than mine, the first thing I want you to do is come up here to Window, go to Workspace, and set it to default. And that should bring you to the workspace that you see on the screen. And that's just going to help you keep track easier. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make a new composition. That's how you work in Adobe After Effects. You set up compositions for your animations or for your video editing or flat images, whatever it is you're doing in After Effects. It's extremely powerful. There's a lot you can do, and you always work in composition. So we click here on New Composition, or you can come down here to this little film strip looking guy that says Create a New Composition. Okay, for our purposes, we're going to go 1920 by 1080 for pixels, and then we want the frame rate to be 30, and your time code might be different. What I want you to do is set your time code to 3 seconds. So it's going to be a bunch of zeros, 3, and then 2 more zeros. And with that, we're going to click OK. Now you see the composition is loaded up down here in your timeline, and it's exactly 3 seconds long. You can zoom in and out using this guy, but we know it's 3 seconds because we're zoomed completely out. Up here in the project panel is the new composition that you made. We left it at comp 1, but it's not a good idea to leave your compositions like that because you're going to have compositions inside of compositions eventually, and you really need to stay organized right out of the gate. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on comp 1 and hit the enter button, and then we're just going to name it. We're going to call it animation properties. And now you saw it change here, but then you also saw it change here down in the little tab in your timeline. Again, this is just a really quick look at getting started in Adobe After Effects and animation, so I'm not going to go into great detail on the moves that I'm making and using certain tools. Feel free to swing by the Club Hub anytime, come talk to me, and we can go over this stuff, or I really encourage you to explore on your own because Adobe After Effects is incredibly powerful. So to get started with animation, we need to have some sort of photo or video. We need some sort of asset here in our timeline. For the sake of time, I'm just going to click up on the shape tool, and I'm going to make a grayish blue ellipse with no stroke. So I have my colors and I don't have any stroke. And all I'm going to do is click in the composition or in the layer, and I'm going to draw a blue ellipse. Now you'll see down here the shape layer appeared, and there's 2 drop downs. There's contents, which is the shape that I just drew. It says ellipse. And then there's the transform properties, the 5 animation properties, which is what we're going to talk about today. So don't worry about contents for right now. Again, to stay organized, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to label this layer. So we're going to call it ellipse. I'm going to call it oval because I don't know if that's actually how you spell ellipse. Okay, so in our oval layer, we're going to look at these 5 transform properties. If you don't see them and it looks like this, there's always these little drop down arrows that you can click to drop down any information that you want to animate. For now, we're going to work with the 5 transform properties. So the first one that you'll see is anchor point. Now, anchor point is probably the most important, but it does the least. The anchor point is the point on your layer that all of these other 4 properties revolve around or are based around. So for position, since it says 960 by 540, this anchor point is dead center in our 1920 by 1080 composition. By clicking and dragging on any of these blue numbers, we can move this up and down. So this is the y-axis, this is the up and down. Next to that, the 960 is the x-axis. And those numbers are the coordinate for this center anchor point. So if we move this anchor point, the layer is also going to move because the position of it hasn't changed, but the position of the anchor point has changed. And now when we move its position, these coordinates are based on the new position of that anchor point. Same with scale. If we go down to scale, it's at 100% because it's at the size that we drew. And if we move our anchor point down to the very bottom, okay, so this is how we do it with the numbers. I'm going to show you a quicker way in just a second. And now we move the position back down so we can see it. If we scale this down, this paper clip is connected, so that means the height and the width will scale proportionally. So we're going to scale it down to 0. You can see that it's scaling up and down based on that anchor point. The same is with rotation. So if we click on this number and we rotate around, our object is rotating around the anchor point. If we move the anchor point, now I'm going to show you a new tool that I think will come in handy. This is the pan behind tool, which is also known as the anchor point tool. You'll click on this and you can grab the anchor point without affecting where your object is moving. You can see the coordinates, position, and anchor point are selected because they're changing, but where your object is in the composition is not changing. So if we put this in the middle, and now we play with the scale, see it's scaling proportionally from the center. Okay, so anchor point is the most important, even though it doesn't do a whole lot. So just to recap, all animations happen around the anchor point. Position is where your object is in your composition. So you can see anytime you move the object, the position changes. Same with scale. Scale is how big it is. You can scale it proportionally, or we can turn this paper clip off, and now we can just scale it up the height, or we can scale it out with the width. But it's going to scale around the anchor point. So if we were to move the anchor point using our tool over to this side, and we scale the width, it's just going to scale out like that from the anchor point. Same with the height. The last one that we need to talk about is opacity. Opacity is how transparent an object is. So right now it is at 100% opacity, so we cannot see through it. If we decrease this number, you can start to see the transparency grid appear behind the object. That's because we're adjusting the opacity. If we go to 0% opacity, our object is now completely transparent. All we have to do is click and drag over all the way to 100%, and now we cannot see through it again. It is a solid object. One thing to note, all of these blue parameters, you can click and drag with your mouse, and you'll see a little hand with an arrow pop up, or if you know exactly what you want, you can click in them and manually type in the value that you want the animation property to have. Okay, so those are the animation properties in a nutshell. I encourage you to draw your own object or bring in your own image and just play with those so you get a sense of what you're doing. So now that we know what they are, we start to drop keyframes so we can animate them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start animating some of these parameters that we just learned about. So in most Adobe applications, you work with keyframes. And what keyframes are, they're just markers over the course of your timeline. And by timeline, it's the amount of time that you're working with here in your timeline. So you can see from 0 to 3 seconds, that's how long our timeline is. If I hit play on the playhead, it moves across, but nothing's happened because I haven't animated anything yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop that and drag it back to the beginning of my timeline. Anything that you can animate in any layer will have a little stopwatch next to it. And as you start to dive into effects, you're going to see that you can animate basically anything in After Effects. I'll start with something simple like position. So I'm going to start with my oval over here just a little bit off the screen. I'm going to click on the position keyframe. You'll notice once I click that stopwatch, it turns blue. A little icon, like a little diamond looking icon, appears over here. And here in my timeline, there's a little diamond that has been dropped. That is a keyframe. Those little diamonds are called keyframes, and you'll see them all over Adobe applications. So now that I've dropped a keyframe, I'm going to hit play on my timeline. Nothing's happening even though I've dropped a keyframe. That's because it doesn't have a position keyframe to move to. So I'm going to drag my timeline to 1 second, and I'm just going to drag over here on the horizontal axis. And you'll see some little dots being dropped. Don't worry about these dots for right now, but what you'll notice are these keyframes that are being dropped. So there's a little diamond here, and a little diamond here. If I drag my playhead back to the 0, I've told it that I want this keyframe here. So the anchor point is going to be at this position at this moment in time. Now I drag forward 1 second. I've told Adobe After Effects I want this anchor point to be in this position at this moment in time. So if we go back and we hit play, now we have an oval animating over. Not too impressive, but it's just, this is the basics of animation. So let's make it a little more complicated. So let's add a little bit of rotation. So I'm going to drop a keyframe at the very beginning of my timeline, and I'm going to rotate it about, you know what, let's just dial in 90 degrees. So I've rotated it 90 degrees. So it's dropped that keyframe, and now if I hit play, I haven't given it a second rotation keyframe, so it's sliding over because I rotated it 90 degrees. If I drag my playhead back to 1 second, and I type in 0, the original position, now at 1 second, it's back where it started. And if I start dragging, you can see that it's going to rotate 90 degrees over the course of 1 second. So if I hit play, now I have my little blue oval, it's moving over and it's rotating in, giving it like a swooping effect, almost like it's kicking something in. So that's just position and rotation. The same can work with scale. So let's go back to the beginning of our playhead and turn on the scale animation. So we've dropped a keyframe. So whatever value we set at this position, at this moment in time, it's going to be that size. So let's shrink this down a little bit. Shrink it down to 30%. If I hit play, it's going to rotate and move, but it's not going to scale because I haven't given it another scale parameter. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to drag over to 1 second at the rest of these keyframes. And I'm just going to type in 100%. So it grows to its original value over the course of 1 second. So now if we hit play, it moves over, it rotates 90 degrees, and it gets bigger. So it almost looks like it's flying in from the background, giving it sort of the illusion of 3 dimensions. Okay, so now we're going to play a little bit with opacity. And to do that, I'm just going to make a new text layer. So I'm going to pick my text tool. I'm going to click off of my oval layer so I don't write on my layer. And I'm going to click in there, and you'll see that an empty text layer appears. So now I'm going to write just something simple. And I'm going to size it up a little bit. And then I'll just position it right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to drop down my transform properties so I can see the keyframes that I set. And I know that this flies in. It's going to take 1 second. So I want my hello to fade in once that settles into the 1 second mark. So I'm going to trim my timeline down a little bit to 1 second. So when it's playing, there's nothing there, but it appears too quickly. So what I want to do is I want to make my own little fade in. So I am going to drop that little arrow down on my text layer, open up the transform properties, and I'm going to set some opacity keyframes. So I'm going to click on my stopwatch and I'm going to hit play. Since it's 100%, I can see it right away, which I don't want. So I'm going to hit stop, and instead of dragging my playhead, I'm going to come over here to this little diamond and I'm going to click the back arrow. And what that does is that will jump between keyframes. So what I need to do is I need to set the opacity to 0 so it's transparent. Now I'm going to drag forward 10 frames and I'm going to set the opacity to 100%. Now I can see it. So if we hit play, it swoops in and fades in. Now I want it to fade in a little bit slower, so I'm going to drag that keyframe 10 more frames and see if I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. So what we have here is a little like text fade in and swoop animation, and that didn't take very long, and it's not using anything fancy. It's just basic shapes and text and the animation properties that we have in Adobe After Effects. And you can combine as many of these animation properties as you want on layers, and then you can stack layers upon layers and do really cool animations that look complicated, but they're actually pretty simple. They're just based around 5 animation properties. As always, when you're working on projects in After Effects or any Adobe application, there are autosave functions, but they are something that you have to turn on manually. So I want you to get in the habit of hitting Command S as you save your projects. And you'll know your project is saved when you look up at the title of it. Right now it says Untitled Project, so that right there tells me this is not saved. There's also a little asterisk right by it. And that tells you that you haven't saved your project since the last animation that you made or the last change that you made. So what we'll do, we'll hit Command S, and I'm just going to save this to my desktop as demo. Now you'll see up at the top it says demo, and it's an After Effects project file, and there's no asterisk next to it. I click down here, I push play. Let's say I change an animation property. I'm going to change the scale of this so it's a little bit smaller. The moment I make a change, that little asterisk appears again. So now if I hit Command S or I come up to File, Save, all it does is save this new version where I recently told it. So you only have to give it a name and save it in a location once. And from there, anytime you hit save, it will save in that location.